The Great Depression was the most widespread severe depression of the 20th century. It originated in the United States in the early 1930s and lasted until the late 1930s. There were five main factors that produced the depression in the United States, which eventually spread around the globe. First off, one of the most well-known factors that contributed to the depression was the stock market crash that occurred on October 29, 1929, also known as Black Tuesday. Stock prices plummeted, and by mid-November, nearly $30 billion in stock had disappeared from the market. This occurred due to businesses purchasing stock on margin. This method of buying stock at 10% of its cost and then using the money that would come from selling the stock to pay off the rest of the amount owed only worked when the stocks increased in value. When the market crashed, many people went into debt without having any opportunity to pay it off. This table represents when the stock decreases in value, the owner loses 20% of what they had invested. Secondly, banks began closing everywhere. This sprouted from insolvency, which is where people were desperately attempting to withdraw their money out of the bank, but the bank had invested and lost their money on the stock market. Due to this, people did not trust the banks, which led to more bank failures. Thirdly, people were not purchasing goods and products, causing there to be little money in circulation to move the economy. Since World War I, people had been purchasing everything on credit, and they were not able to receive credit anymore due to the bank failures. With the credit frozen, deflation occurred, forcing businesses to lower their prices. This led to the businesses firing employees, making more people unemployed. The unemployment rate rose close to 25%, which equaled around 11 million people not working. Furthermore, Congress passed one of the most restrictive tariffs in history, the Smoot-Hawley tariff. This tariff, sponsored by Senator Reed Smoot and Representative Willis C. Hawley, was originally passed in order to protect domestic industries from foreign competition. The tariff led to many other countries passing their own tariffs, which caused global trade to come to a halt, resulting in a global depression. Lastly, a drought hit the Midwest region of the United States. After World War I, farmers continued to produce an enormous amount of crops due to the new technology that was introduced and the high demand for crops during the war. This overproduction stripped the Great Plains of moisture, allowing the sun to cook the soil into fine dirt. Farmers could no longer plant and harvest in this type of soil, so they became very desperate. Also, the dirt being so fine allowed the wind to blow it everywhere, which is commonly referred to as the Dust Bowl. There were two presidents that served during the Great Depression. The first was Herbert Hoover, who served from 1929 to 1933. He is commonly blamed for the Depression, especially since he did not attempt to aid the economy as much as he should have. The other president that served during the Great Depression was Franklin D. Roosevelt, who served from 1933 to 1945. Unlike Hoover, Roosevelt got the federal government directly involved in uplifting the economy out of its depression. He enacted many laws and organizations that helped the American people and the economy, which are commonly referred to as the New Deal. During Roosevelt's first 100 days in office, he proposed an enormous amount of laws and new organizations that would potentially help the economy. Some of the new organizations created included the Works Progress Administration, the Civilian Conservation Corps, and the Public Works Administration. One of the most well-known programs introduced during the Great Depression and important to many citizens today is Social Security, which provided general welfare to aged persons and the disabled. However, the New Deal was not responsible for getting America out of the Great Depression. After Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, America became involved in World War II, which caused there to be more workers needed in order to produce goods for the war effort. This extreme production of goods finally lifted the United States out of the Great Depression.